What is up, guys? Today I'm doing something a little bit different than usual. I'm going to be comparing 3 different kinds of rod and reel combos: the button pusher, the spinning reel, and the bait caster. I'm going to be running over what the positives and the negatives are of each, which one you should get, or how to use them. And I'm going to be going over almost everything I can think of apart from what lures to use, because I don't know if that really matters. I'm going to be going over what you should be using based on your skill level and how you can become better at using the one you want. There's a bass right there. Okay, I've sat still long enough to where they're just coming right up to the kayak. Now, so with the button pusher, it's pretty straightforward. You just hold the button down and then make your casting swing. And then when you make the cast, you need to release the button when you want to release the bait and let it fly. And that's what I'm about to do. Just like that. Now, the bail is still open until I reel. That will flip a switch inside the lure. Now, the main drawback with the button pusher is the gear ratio is very slow. What the gear ratio is how many gears and what sized gears there are in your reel. So for a button pusher, the gears are usually quite little and there's not very many. And that means that you're not going to get you're not going to reel as fast as some other rods. Typically, a button pusher reels very, very slowly. So a lure isn't always the best option with a button pusher because you need to be reeling quite fast for most lures. And a button pusher just isn't going to get the job done. With that being said, you might want a slower reel. So maybe with a bobber, you can just slowly drag it in and move it through places, and that would be fine. Now, another drawback is that when you tangle the line inside of a button pusher reel, it is a lot harder to fix than, say, a spinning reel or even a bait caster, because they are very closed off when you even open it. They're very, very hard to untangle once you have a problem. So keep that in mind when you are fishing with a button pusher. Don't get tangled because it's very hard. Now, I don't mean wrapped around the rod, because that's the same for all combos. I'm talking about inside of the reel. It gets really, really nasty and really, really tangled up, and it becomes almost impossible to fix. You just need to pull out all the line, cut the line, and reline it. Now, a button pusher struggles with having a precise drag too. Their little reel or spool on the front that has the plus and minus, that moves really, really easily, and it doesn't stay in a precise spot for very long. So you almost constantly have to be adjusting that drag to a point where you like it and you are confident you can catch the fish you're after with it. Another problem with button pushers is when you buy a combo. Oh, I thought I had one. When you buy a combo off of like a store, most of the time they're 2 pieces, which can be a blessing and a curse, because you can compact it down really nicely and it becomes a smaller pole for packing. But that also means you can go to make a cast and the entire thing can fly off. I'm about to lose my paddle. And that definitely is a problem. I don't know about you, but I don't like losing half of my rod, especially when it's the important half of the rod, when I'm mid-cast. So it's always nice to, it's a preference thing for sure, but more so than not, a button pusher is going to have 2 pieces rather than 1. Unless you pair it up with a different rod. Well, guys, if I've ever been happy about my GoPro cutting out, it's right now. because I just fell in there. I'm soaked, and yeah, it's cold, but I guess that's what I get for being rambunctious on a kayak. No, I just tried to turn around. Still gotta catch this stupid fish on a button pusher. Jeepers. What was that? Where was that? Oh, I got something. There we go. I just had to look away. That's a bass. Please stay on. Boat flipped. Ta-da. Finally. Okay, just don't flop around and hook me. I can get you back in the water real easy. There we are. There. That's a fish on the button pusher. Now we're on to the spinning reel. That took so long. Now we're on to the spinning reel / the open faced reel. This reel is a lot different. So the way this one works is, if I was to go and make a cast, I'm gonna ignore my broken rod, I would flip open this bail and I would hold the line with my finger. I would pinch it to the rod, and then when I make a casting motion, let my finger up to release the line, and then it just falls off the spool really nicely. And then flip the bail. This doesn't let it fall off anymore, and I just really screwed it up. But there, you always want to make sure that it's on the guide, or else it will tangle up. And for this one, you just reel it. This is the #1 most used rod. This is all you ever need to catch any fish. Just heavier or bigger rods. This, in my opinion, is the dominant pole. Does that mean I use it the most? No. There's one other pole that we're gonna get to. Now, I'm gonna try and cut this out. Might just need to cut the line. That's what I'm gonna do. Cut the line, let that fall out. So the nice thing about when you break a rod tip, well, there's nothing nice about breaking a rod tip. But if it's just the tip, you can cut your losses, because you can go ahead and you can come to the tip of the pole. You'll notice I've still got 4 eyelets. I can still fish with this. Is it a little less sensitive at the tip? Yeah, but it still works. So what I can do is I could take a knife, or I could take scissors, and I'm just gonna come right to this end, right by the eyelet, and just snap it off. There you have it. I have a fresh pole. It's a little bit shorter than it was when I bought it, and it's a little bit less sensitive. In fact, it's a very heavy pole now, but this is still gonna work fine to catch a fish. I just need a lure to throw on it, which I'm gonna use over here. I'm gonna throw this jig head over here, swap it out, and I'm gonna be going the good old mini racks. This is my favorite micro crappie / bass loop, because it's a glide bait. It's really tiny and I love it. Oh. Okay, on to the easy part, the mini racks / the spinning rod and reel. So the way this one's drag, which is what I mentioned earlier, how easy the fish can pull out the line, that's controlled on the top of the reel. So usually it's righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, I think. Or maybe it's the other way around for this reel. Lefty-tighty, righty-loosey. It's kind of weird, but you'll get used to it. And so, the nicest thing about these is that they're reliable. They are, the biggest problem I would say is that in the wind they can perform rough, and if you put fresh line on them, the line will just fly off the spool. But this is by far the easiest and the funnest rod reel to use, I think. Okay. Let's get a fish on this thing. The way I can switch to the Baitcaster and be done. There we go. Literally, like the third cast, he took it on the drop. I'm telling you, man, this lure mixed with this rod is so deadly. Well, it's a nicer one. He's a little bit bigger than the last one. He's a lot bigger than the last one. All things considered. Okay, let's not do that, please. Put it right through fabric. There we go. Got that part out. Okay, I'm gonna sit down before I fall off again. Still going after that big boy I saw earlier. But there. Not a whole lot bigger, but he's a lot nicer than the last guy. There's one right there. There's two bass sitting right there. Let's see if he'll follow him off. Bye, buddy. Now on to what I think is the most difficult rod and reel to use. This is going to be the longer portion of the video, even though it's going to take hopefully less time to catch a fish on it. We have the Baitcaster, and oh boy is this thing deadly in the right hands. Deadly in the wrong hands too. It's just which person it's endangering. I'm gonna throw on with the Baitcaster. So the problem with this is it takes some weight. I'm gonna be trying something a little bit different because I'm a little bit more experienced with it, but usually you're gonna want a little bit of weight. The way to set this up is this little dial here. This is the most important part of your Baitcaster. When you open up this button, if that lure isn't falling, good, it shouldn't. I'm gonna loosen it. The way it works is the looser I make it, the easier it is for the line to pull out of this spool. The tighter I make it, the harder it is. So as a beginner, don't listen to anybody that tells you to wait for it to slowly fall, because that is very hard to control. You want that sucker tight so that you kind of have to flip it to get it to move. Now it's gonna be easier with a weighted lure, obviously, but I have a weightless lure, so I'm gonna be throwing it a little bit looser. Now, the way this one works is it's on a free spool. Once you press this button, that spool can do whatever it wants. So you have to control it with your thumb. So if I take my thumb off, the lure starts to fall. If I put my thumb on it, it stops falling because it's just floating. It's on just a spool. So if I let it spin too fast to where the lure isn't going fast enough, the line gets stuck in the reel and it spins around and gets tangled. That's what you call backlash, or a rat nest if it gets bad. So what you have to do is you have to feather it. So I might take my thumb off to cast, and then halfway through the cast, you see that? It spun too fast. I would put my thumb on it before it gets bad. Now if that happens, hopefully it's not a horrible mess. So you can just pull out the line and it will come out just like that. If it is a mess, you might have to cut it. This is a very, very hard lure to use, or a hard reel to use. I recommend it to intermediate to advanced fishermen only. If somebody starts with a Baitcaster, I almost say sorry to them every time I see it, because it is the worst idea ever. You spend more money on line than you do a Baitcaster, and they cost a lot. Now with that being said, they reel really, really quick. They have a lot of control over the lures, and you have more control of where you're putting your lure. So if I am going too far, I can put my thumb on it and stop it right there. If I'm going to cast short, oh well, that's a problem. But, oh gosh, that's a tree. These are a very hard kind of rod to use, and that's what makes them the most difficult for beginners. Now, you can use them for a lot bigger fish, and they have excellent drags and excellent everything. They are the best possible thing you can get, especially a nice one. But they're hard to use. They take a lot of time. The best thing to do for me is how I learned is I threw on a topwater frog and I practiced with it in the backyard. And I didn't practice on casting as far as I could. I made sure I didn't backlash every cast, and I actually got control over the lure. And that's what I'm kind of gonna try and do. To nibble, just a little bite. Might have to do it. I might have to switch to the wacky rig. I think I will. Plop my butt down and switch to the wacky rig. I'm done playing around with these little fish. It's time to get some stuff done. Let's see. This will work. Or actually, I want a blue. There we go. I like it. Salty. I'm feeling wacky. Let's put a fish in the boat. This is the #1 most reliable fishing technique ever, since majority of these fishermen that are watching are beginners. If you want to catch some bass, just use this one combo. All I'm letting it do is sink. After I let it sink for a little bit, let's give it a few pops. I'm making those legs bounce. There we go, got him. That was nice. There we go. And just like that, we have secured the biggest bass of the day using the Baitcaster. He's not huge, but he's a fish, and I'm gonna take that as a dub. I really hope my GoPro's on. It is. Yes! That concludes our bass little fishery. I hope you learned something. I hope that you have decided, or this video has helped you decide which one you want. If I'm gonna tell you anything, if you're a beginner and you are over the age of 10, you should buy yourself a spinning reel, rod and reel. Not a nice one, but a spinning rod and reel, and just learn with that. If you are under the age of 10 and you're a beginner, buy a button pusher. And if you are a intermediate fisherman of any age, preferably over the age of 10, you can buy yourself a Baitcaster. But be careful, and if you need help, watch this video again, because I showed it off very well, and I just had another bite. But with that said, go catch yourself some fish.